welcome to this week's vlog. All by myself, don't wanna be all by myself. I'm by myself this week. Sad times. So this week the vlog is going to be redoing my bookshelf, book shopping, all things books. I'm going to do book updates. I'm going to finish off a series that I've started. So stay tuned for all of that fun stuff. Love you. Bye. Look at the fake tan hand. Hi guys, hi YouTube. Sorry about the bumpy car. We have Maz is driving. I thought that for today's segment of the solo vlog, I couldn't work the camera slice if you're watching this, and that's why I'm on my phone and it's bumpy.
Surely you're going to look back at that and think, well, I might not use that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, right. So you apologise.
I'll edit it. Oh. No, because it's like a message to slice. Anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd take you along. We're gonna go shopping. I might try and drag my mum into a bookshop because I really do want to buy a romance book. But I'll explain why I want to buy a romance book in the next clip when I'm not. What?
You're not fed up with romance books.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and sneak into a bookshop and get a romance book. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to spend in a bookshop because I'm with my mum and my auntie, but I want a romance because I'm in my ACOTAR era. I'm on book 2. I'm reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm kind of like around the 530 page mark. So I've got about 20% left to go. Hi guys, currently out shopping, feeling a bit weird vlogging in public. I'm gonna go to Zara and then I'm gonna drag them into the works. Hi guys, hi everyone. As you all know, this is a little solo vlog because Elise is sunning herself in the Dominican Republic. So I'm on my own this week. So I thought what I'd do is I would just sit down and we can talk books because I haven't done like my monthly sort of wrap up yet. So I thought that maybe I could like incorporate it into this vlog style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by talking about the books that I have read this month, and then I'm going to talk about the books that I want to read, my sort of May hopefuls, my hopeful list. I'm a mood reader, so I don't really stick to like solidly to what I want to read. I definitely just sort of give myself the freedom, like if I'm loving a series, I'll just carry on reading that, or if I'm feeling a romance, or if I'm hating men in my like era, then I just will like steer clear of romance. So yeah, so let's get into what I read this month. So first of all, I just want to start off by saying that I had such a good reading month. You know, just when every book hits. Like, I did not have a bad experience with a book this month. Like, honestly, fantastic. So I started off the month by reading one of the first books that Elise, my other half, she should be here, I'm going to sit this way so you can't see my messy room, gave me in our challenge where we went to Waterstones and like the works and picked up books for each other. The Inheritance Games. This is actually book 1 of 3, and it's basically about a girl who, I mean, it's all over BookTok, but it's about a girl who inherits some money, and she basically has to figure out like, well, some money, she's like a billionaire, and then she has to basically figure out why she inherited all this money. And the guy who she inherited the money from, he's got like this family, and they're all like, quite rightly so, like annoyed that they didn't inherit. You go on like the little trials with her. It's all like puzzles. I will say, so I think I gave this like a 4 stars. I will say sometimes the puzzles went over my head a bit, and I'm also not like Elise, and then I gave it to Elise and she loved this, but you'll see about that in her next month's wrap up. But I will also say some of it, yeah, it went over my head, and I'm not like, oh my god, I have to know what's next. So I don't know if I'll carry on with the series. after the Inheritance games, I read Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney, and this was a book that Elise absolutely loved. I'm going to say Elise, but yeah, she absolutely loved this. It's like a thriller. It's about this guy who, like, someone randomly knocks on his door one day and is like, I think you've got my baby. He's like, no, sorry, this is my baby. Anyway, so you kind of like, it follows two families whose babies are swapped at birth, and you basically go through the mystery and like the trying to figure out like whose baby's whose and what's happened. So this, I would say, I think I rated this like 4 or 5 stars. I rated this quite highly on my Goodreads. Elise loved this and loved J.P. Delaney, so I definitely will be like reading more books by this author, because I was like on the edge of my seat, which is what I needed after like the Inheritance games. I was kind of like, oh, the ending felt a tiny bit sort of flat for me personally. I know it's like such a popular book, but yeah, this Playing Nice was my second book of the month, and it was fantastic. I then read, I did it. I bit the bullet. I started my ACOTAR era, and I was going to talk about this later, but obviously obsessed. I read this in like, I think it took me quite a long time to read it, because like the world building and the fantasy and the names and but I've got a reading blog which is on the channel, me and Elise, I've got a reading blog which is down below if you want to watch my full thoughts, reviews, feelings, emotions as I was reading this, because my life will never be the same. I'm 100 pages away from finishing book 2 and I'm obsessed. The third book I read of the month was called My Dark Romeo, and I think it's by like L.J. Shen or something. It's like 2 authors who like teamed up and wrote this book. It was on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't have a copy, but my god, I loved this book. So the premise of this book is that a millionaire called Romeo is like in this socialite scene, and he is basically like a millionaire businessman. It's very grumpy sunshine, and Dallas Townsend is a sort of socialite in the scene. I loved where it was set. Like, it was Texas, it was like high society. They're all at this like debutante ball, and they kind of end up like coming together, and then her reputation is kind of sullied because he, like, you know, makes everyone see them engaging in some activity, and then he's like, oh well, I've got to marry you now. And she was basically, the whole premise is she's like was going to be married to his enemy, and you just like see them like come together. But the banter in this book, oh my god, I was saying to Elise, I was obsessed. Like, when a book has good banter and that you follow the chemistry, you get behind the couple, mate, like, I love this book. I know, like, because I didn't really research it before I read it, but then once I did, I went on TikTok and I saw, and like Goodreads has some quite mixed reviews, but I absolutely fell in love with this book, fell in love with the characters. I think after Playing Nice and sort of ACOTAR, I wanted like a romance to just kind of cleanse my palate, and My Dark Romeo was fantastic for doing so. Sorry, I had to move the positioning, and can we also ignore this mess here? I've just been shopping and I need to sort it all out. But yes, so after My Dark Romeo, I needed sort of something on my Kindle, because when I don't read sort of on my Kindle for a while, I'm like, oh, I should really read on my Kindle. So I read on Kindle Unlimited The Housemaid. It is by Frida McFadden. I've read one Frida McFadden book before, and I really did thoroughly enjoy The Housemaid. At times, I find Frida McFadden. I find Frida McFadden's writing really sort of easy to follow, quite simplistic. In terms of like thrillers go, I wouldn't say they're very like thrillery, which I quite like, because as we all know, I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, so they're not like scary thriller. So those are my, I think it was 5 books. Yes, 3 physical, 2 on my Kindle. So I read 5 books this month, which I'm quite happy with. I mean, these books are big, the ACOTAR books are big, so I'm like counting them as like 1.5 books in so I had a good reading month, like as in the caliber of books that I was reading. I didn't ever think like, oh my god, I want this to end. Like, I really thoroughly enjoyed every single one of these books. So now we are going to discuss my May hopeful, the month of May. I have my little box here. I am getting a book case, which you will see in the next clip, so we're going to put it up together. But I actually just went to the Works and Zara, as you can see by this. So I bought, just to sort of let you know what I'm currently reading, I'm currently reading A Court of Mist and Fury on my Kindle, because I was impatient and couldn't wait for the second book when I read ACOTAR. But I am obviously going to buy the hard copy so that they can all like sit on my shelf like beautiful little books that they are. So I am currently 100 pages towards the end. 100 pages? Why is my mind going back? 100 pages until the end of A Court of Mist and Fury, and oh my god, yeah, so much better than the first. Like, a book has not made me feel like this since Icebreaker, which I love, everyone knows I love. A book has not made me feel like this since Icebreaker. Like, I have like a 5-star feeling, but my feeling towards this book and towards like the characters and the world and the city is just like, but I cannot believe, I like had a moment of sadness yesterday because I was like, they're not real. They're not real. Like, how can these people not be real? Like, I love it. I love it. I think I'm going to be into fantasy now. So that brings me on to, I bought A Court of Wings and Ruin because I saw it in the Works. I should have bought the second one, to be fair, because I think it was in there. So I need to go back and buy the second one in the physical copy, even though I'm reading it on my Kindle, because I will be rereading. So I bought the third one, and look how thick she is. I mean, this would so scare me and overwhelm me. So I totally get it if people are like, I don't want to read that, it's too big, because that would literally have been me like 2 months ago. I'd been like, sorry? Who has the time? Who has the time? I also have, so I have these 2 books. I know they're not like part of the same series, so I'm not like talking about them as if they are, but I have Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Probably saying that wrong. But I really want to get round to this, but I just feel like I shouldn't be. This is a series, right? This is a series. Anyway, I feel like I know this one is definitely a series. This is What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper Elwood. This one I picked up. This is the first one Elise got me in the challenge, and this I picked up in the Works because I was kind of dipping my toe. I love that saying. Dipping my toe into the fantasy world. But they are both on my hopefuls. But ACOTAR is so I had these before I got into ACOTAR, and then ACOTAR's kind of like blown all my other fantasy books out the water, to be honest. I just want to read all 5. So whether I get round to these next month is another question, because I know what I'm like. I'll just want to binge ACOTAR. And then, yeah, finally, I have this, Rabbit Hole it's called, by Mark Billingham. This is the final book that Elise gave me of our challenge. So I'm hoping I can get round to this because, again, I feel like I've got quite a lot of, like, fantasy thriller, fantasy romance. So this is kind of a bit more thrillery. It's basically about, like, a psychiatric patient ward. I don't really know anything about this book, but sometimes it's better to go into things not knowing. But this is one that Elise gave me, and I trust her wholeheartedly, so I'm sure it's going to be good. But yes, that was my sort of wrap up of the month, and then my hopefuls. I mean, whether I get round to any of them is yet to be seen. I'm going to put my book shelves up and vlog that, but this was just sort of like a little segment for my solo vlog, because I think I've mentioned it, but my best friend's left me. Alexa, stop. I haven't stopped listening to The Little Mermaid soundtrack. I watched the film over the weekend and I literally can't stop listening to it. But we have an exciting update. I've literally been waiting for this. So Elise, you better be proud of me for filming what I am about to show you guys. I got my new, I didn't just get it, but I got it over the weekend, and my dad has put up my new little bookshelf. So I'm gonna film putting it together and the books that I'm putting in it. I'll show you in a second. Here she is in all her glory. I need to, like, obviously the curtains I've just shut, but this is my bookshelf. Let me go back a bit so you can see. So this is the space that she's in. I'm gonna like decide what I want to put in each of them. So you guys are like propped up here. Let me just move you back a bit. goodness, I'm filming on my phone as well because Elise just took the camera back. But I might do a little like, I've also started Silver Flames, but I might do like a little montagey clip. So currently, when I first got into reading, I didn't want to have like too many books because I thought they would overwhelm me. If I had like too many books on my TBR, I thought that I would just like get really overwhelmed with it and then like not read any of them. Also, the lighting in this room in this clip is so whack. I'm so sorry about that. Whack? That's new. Anyway, this is what I've been keeping my books in. Definitely not finished yet. Like, I have a load more books that I need to basically pick up and go and like put on this shelf, but it makes me so happy to have my little books in my room. Like, you can't really see them. It just makes me so happy to have my little books like out in my room, and any that I read that I know I'm not going to sell are going to go on my like with my SJ Mass collection. And yeah, basically I need to go and buy some more books to read, but it's cute. I'm going to just build my collection. Like, you don't need to have 1,000 books straight away, just build your collection. But I'm happy.